in their attendance. We know Jackson State has been the premier college football team when it comes to attendance in the FCS for a very long time. But there was an article put out recently by HBCU Game Day. It got me wondering, how is Jackson State attendance going to look in 2023? Well, let's talk about it after the bumper. Stay tuned. What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsyJr. YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you get your podcast. Be sure to do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, and subscribe. Now, like I said, HBCU Game Day talked about the attendance overall as far as HBCUs did in 2022, and everything went up. The visibility, the attraction, the attendance, everything just went up. Impressions, everything went up for HBCUs over the last year. And obviously, you can attribute a lot to that, to the presence of Deion Sanders and what he did at Jackson State. But just everywhere else, everybody was interested in what was taking place, not just at Jackson State, but at different HBCU institutions, specifically on the football side of things, across the country. Across the country, they saw record attendance on everywhere. But obviously, we're here to talk about JSU because JSU is one of the premier, is the premier leader when it comes to attendance and has been in the FCS for a very long time. And it dates before Deion Sanders. But they specified Prime and what he was able to help Jackson State do. They did that specifically. Let's see. It says HBCU football attendance, Deion Sanders and JSU left their mark. Now, I want to talk about this because this is the premise of our video, and we'll get into why. It says Deion, Coach Prime Sanders, and his Jackson State Tigers have been the main driver of attendance numbers going up the past two seasons. They were certainly in evidence for other top draws. I don't know. I don't think that's not written the best. But anyway, the 2022 season saw 25 games top 20,000 people mark in fan attendance, over 17 from last season, which is awesome, by the way. Let's see. Those 25 games drew 954,000 spectators, an average of 38,000 per game. All 13 games of JSU season were on that list. So JSU had all 13 of their games, saw over 20,000 people in attendance. It's pretty awesome. It says the Tigers broke their own FCS home attendance record in 2021. JSU attracted on average 44,000 fans to the 5 games played at Jackson, Mississippi Veterans Memorial Stadium this year. It topped the previous record of 42,293 the year before. So they went from 42,000 in 2021 to 44,000 in 2022. It goes on to say the Tigers had 4 games that topped 50,000 in attendance, including 3 home games against Campbell, against Southern in the SWAC championship game, and then or against Southern the first time in October, and then against Southern again in the SWAC championship game. But Coach Prime and the Tigers were also big draws on the road. They packed 51,000 into the Southern Heritage Classic, 39,000 at the Orange Blossom Classic. And then let's see, at 22,000 in the game in Jacksonville against Bethune-Cookman, and 32,000 in the Gulf Coast Challenge against Alabama A&M. And of course, they had 49,670, a record for the Celebration Bowl in their game against North Carolina Central. The 5 neutral site games involving JSU averaged 39,000 fans. So they averaged 44,000 at home and 39,000 on the road, which really was more than that. All the other places, the Bethune game at only 22,373, which is amazing, by the way. But that kind of pulled it down, or that number would have been over 40,000. And he attracted an average of 27,000 fans for 3 of its 3 rival away games, again, at other people's campuses. So Jackson State were the the cream of the crop when it comes to attendance, not just at Jackson. They averaged, not just at Jackson, like at their rivals games, they averaged 27,000 on their field. And then at the rival game, at the away games at neutral sites, they averaged 40,000. So 27,000. If JSU came to your campus, there was going to be at least 27,000 people in the stands. And if they played you and it was a neutral site, it was going to be about at least 40,000 in the stand. So JSU were the cream of the crop when it comes to draws as far as getting butts in stands. And so that was in 2022. JSU's been doing that for a while. What I want to talk about is, do you think those numbers can be improved in 2023? Now, why do I say that? Well, because the big, HBCU game day, they're pointing out that, hey, JSU did all of this under the tutelage of Deion Sanders. Well, Deion Sanders is no longer there. So can they top these attendance numbers in 2023? And here's my thoughts on it. Not only do I think they can top the attendance numbers, they will top those attendance numbers. Here's why. Here's why they're going to do that. Well, one, this is the most, I think, over the last 2 years, those were the most anticipated Jackson State football seasons in a while, right? Simply because of who they had at head coach, who they had on the roster, et cetera, et cetera. Well, now that person and or his staff and or his players are now gone. And so I believe with them leaving and this being the first season since they left, this will be the most anticipated Jackson State football season in quite some time, maybe even ever. Here's why. Like I said, that previous regime and those players are gone. Everybody wants to see, how will Jackson State look now that those people are gone? Now that that regime is gone? Now that that figure has left the building? Everybody wants to see. And everybody, Coach Maynard came on and told me. He said, everybody feels like they got a shot to win it. Maybe at some point over the last 2 years, you may or may not felt like you had a shot to win it. But everybody thinks that the crown is up for taking. And so they always give you their best shot anyway. But they are going to give you their ultimate knockout blow to try to take you out. And you know what's going to happen in Jackson, Mississippi, and why those numbers are going to top that? Not only are those fan bases more likely to travel because they think they have a better shot at winning, those fan bases will travel more because, the last 2 years, they may or may not have felt like, we probably aren't going to win. They got X, Y, Z, whoever. But now we got a better shot. But you also, what's taking place in Jackson right now? That fan base is galvanizing, or they have galvanized together, stronger and better, more than ever. The old fans have been woken up because of the success of the last 2 years. The new fans are there to stay. And everybody has come together to say, we're still Jackson State. Y'all still got to beat us. We're still the top dog. And we're going to show you we're still the top dog with our performance on the field and show you that we're still the best fan base by our outcome, our output in support of our team. And the support meaning buying season tickets and showing up to each and every game, not just the ones at home. Not just the ones at home. I told you if Jackson State came to your campus, 28,000 people were showing up to that game. If they came to your campus. If y'all played a neutral site game, 40,000 was showing up. And for the games at home, they averaged 44,000 per game. Broke their own record from 2021. They broke it in 2022, 44,000. To 2021 was 42,000. This year, I think it'll be closer to 48,000. I think more Jackson State fans are coming out for this year. Their home attendance will go up from 44,000, I think, to 48,000 per game this year. That's my bold prediction. That's what I'm predicting in March of 2023. That come March of 2024, I'm going to be talking about how JSU averaged almost 50,000 per game as far as attendance. And we quite possibly could be talking about a three-peat in the SWAC. I don't know about that yet. I'm not getting into predictions and all of that stuff yet, but we could. We could be talking about a three-peat in the SWAC. But I think the good folks in Mississippi, the JSU fans, both far and away, and those right there in the community, I think they're going to really, really rally behind this team. They're going to really, really rally behind this team because they seem to have great leadership in the players, and they've got a guy who he feels like there's a lot to prove in their head coach in T.C. Taylor, a guy who doesn't speak a whole lot. He doesn't speak a whole lot. Don't. And when he talks, that's why we got to listen. But when he speaks with confidence. He means what he says, and he says what he means. He don't beat around the bush. And he's a guy that he even said, this is a big year for us. Every year is a big year. But this is really a big year, not just for myself, for my team, for my coaching staff. It's a lot of guys that people feel like are betting on themselves with this situation at JSU. Some people feel like they shouldn't have bet on themselves in this situation. And Coach T.C. Taylor wants to prove every doubter in the country, every doubter in the SWAC, every doubter in the world wrong. That's why he said the most important game is the MEAC SWAC Championship, because it'll be a time for us to showcase what we've been working on since December, since he took over as head coach. So that's why this attendance thing is big. It's something to keep an eye on when the season gets going. Pay attention to the numbers. Pay attention to the numbers of the outcomes. I think also pushing the times back. You know, during the last regime, they played a lot of 1 o'clock games and a lot of early games because they fit like the NFL model. I think having a couple of 6 o'clock games, a couple of night games, later games later in the day, especially early September when it's 100 degrees outside, going to help the attendance as well. All things to be aware of and look out for come this fall. And boy, oh boy, can we not wait till this fall. We got some spring previews coming up on this channel. But what are your thoughts? JSU, kings of attendance. Will they keep it going? Can they top their 2022 mark of 44,400 and some odd people every single home game? Can they top it this year? I guess we'll have to wait and see. My name is JeffLightsYJr. This is the Victor Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsYJr, YouTube, Facebook, and wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Like, share, and subscribe. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7, on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.